I want to show you a quick demonstration of Bookshift and how easy and quick it is to use for an author. The front page is still a work in progress, but a customer will click Submit a new book, and they can drag and drop a file or choose one here. Let's see. Okay, let's choose an EPUB file. So we can take this one here, and this is being uploaded. And here you can see that the user does not have to enter many details. The book gets scanned and the title became pre-filled, the author became pre-filled, and then the genre was detected as well. And we use a complex genre as this better informs the translation process. So for this particular book, it's come up with a steamy, small town, opposites attract, insta-love rom-com with feel-good vibes and humor, which is an excellent genre to use for our translation process. The source language here, this is English. They can't change that. It was auto-detected. And we don't currently work with books which are in multiple languages. If the book had been in German, it would say German here, or any other language. So they just upload the file, then all this is pre-filled, but they can edit it if there's a mistake. Then choose a target language. I've got a few here. I'm going to edit this down before it goes live. Not all of them are working perfectly yet, but most of the European ones are. And we can see here that the title has also been translated for the author. It may be that they have a different title in mind already that they've decided on, but if they don't want to think about that, they can go with our automatically translated title. And if they want to translate their book to multiple languages, they can do so. So they could choose, maybe they want it in well, maybe they want it in Italian, maybe they want it in maybe Brazilian Portuguese. There's a much bigger market for Brazilian Portuguese, and there's an Amazon Brazilian Portuguese store, but not a Portugal store. Yeah, and so we get these translated titles, and they could edit them if they like. So then they click submit the book for translation, and we have this pop-up. It tells them how much it costs. It's costed in credits. 1 credit is 1 word, and we will sell monthly subscriptions or individual word packages. Then they can confirm and submit the job. And that takes a few seconds, and the user can look at their books they've already translated. I've done lots of little tests, and then from this bar they can download a Word version or an EPUB version, and if they want more details, they can go to this. During testing this morning, I had some failures with some languages. These are ones I'm going to be removing before going live, but the Danish and Italian worked just fine. Yeah, so they're downloadable files. And from the we can manage these jobs. We have plenty of jobs there. As we can see, this one is currently going at the moment. And when we go there, we can change the job status, whether it's paid or not, and so on. And we have these files. If we want to, we can cancel them. We can upload a new file. Perhaps we've done a translation job offline and we need to replace it. If for some reason everything went wrong, we could requeue all the pending jobs. I'm not quite sure why that would happen at the moment, but it's nice to have the option. And of course, we save the original file still as well. And the other thing we are doing for authors, which is very useful, is translating their covers for them. When a book's translated, the title is obviously still in English or whatever the source language is. So we want to make that easy for authors as well. So they would choose their existing book title. And so they might have this one. And our system is hopefully detecting that. We've got the author here. We've got the original title, The City Girl and the Carpenter. And it didn't detect the subtitle. It's in kind of really small, tiny writing up there. So they could enter that if they wanted. And again, if there happened to be a series name on there that wasn't detected, they could enter it in. And they will select their target language. And again, we'll suggest a translated title for them. Because we didn't have a subtitle, there's nothing filled in there, but otherwise it would be. So we could, let's see whether that works. Romance. I think we probably have to, yeah, re-choose that again. Then they submit their cover job for translation. This bit still has a bit of human in the loop for doing the translating of the covers. However, there have just been some new tools released, like OpenAI have just yesterday released their image gen, or whatever it's called, the image generation API. So hopefully we should be able to fully automate this soon. Yeah, and that's about it for that. On the back end, it's running on Railway, and I've got two workers doing translations here, but I also have a whole bunch running on my computer. Okay, so that's it. Behind the scenes, it's running a very complicated Python script, doing dozens of different LLM calls during the translation process to make it a kind of fluent sounding translation. We don't want it to sound translated, so we do an iterative process. It's divided up. Each chunk goes through several rounds of translation and analysis, and then at the end there is a sequential pass on the entire book. So it goes from the first chunk to the second one, which then has the first chunk as context, and then we have the third chunk, which has the first two chunks as context, and we do this to polish the final draft, or the final translated version, and to ensure like consistency of voice and tone, that the kind of catchphrases are kept the same if there are any, things like that. We are creating a fully translated, ready to go, ready to publish translation of the book.